Hey everybody, Danny Don't Go In 237 here, and I'm going to show you my cult cabinet. This is where my wife and I keep all of our cult DVDs. Anything we deem worthy of being called a cult classic winds up. This is its home. These are the movies my daughter knows she's not allowed to watch yet. Most of them, anyway. There's some stuff she could watch in here, but in general, that's the rule. So let's open this up. And as you can see, on the top here are the Blu-rays. Top one is the quintessential cult movie, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I recently finally got the Scarface steelbooks. I think that deserves to be in the cult cabinet. So here we can take a look at what I have. I'm a big Fulci fan. So City of the Living Dead is one of my favorite of my cult movies. Bird with the Crystal Plumage, I believe that's now out of print. I was lucky enough to get a screener copy from a friend of mine who works with Blue Underground. I just recently bought Faces of Death. I'm not a big fan of death movies like the Traces of Death and Banned from TV and stuff like that, but Faces of Death has always struck me as more of like a Mondo movie, and I'm a big Mondo movie fan. So I went ahead and bought it. Plus the fact that Faces of Death is on Blu-ray seems so completely bizarre and surreal to me that I just had to do it. In a Glass Cage. If you haven't seen this movie and you're a fan of like underground Maverick cinema, check it out. That movie is one of the most perverse, bizarre, repulsive movies I've ever seen. It's a great movie, though. Big Tinto Brass fan, so I've got two of his movies right here on Blu-ray, Mon Amour and Salon Kitty. Here's a couple that I think are interesting. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Toolbox Murders, Zombie. These are movies I was reluctant to buy them on Blu-ray because I was afraid they were going to look too good, actually. I thought they would lose some of their grit, but they did a good job of making them look great, but without losing any of the grittiness, so I have to commend them that. This great documentary, 100 Years of Horror, I think it's 6 or 7 discs, hosted by Christopher Lee. I'm a sucker for trailer compilations, so I've got all the 42nd Street Forever from Synapse. I have the Alejandro Jodorowsky collection. I had heard of him for years, just recently finally saw some of his work, and I thought it was fantastic, so I went out and bought that. And these are two UK releases, Amityville 2 and Amityville 3D. I'm a big fan of this movie, Amityville 2. And I bought Amityville 3D because it's in 3D, although the 3D doesn't really work. Big fan of Asian horror involving worm puking, which is why I have Black Magic 2. There's plenty of that. The August Underground movies, actually know a couple of people involved in this company, Toe Tag Pictures, that make these. I think these are interesting movies. You know, kind of very disturbing, very disgusting, but really well made. The Aztec Mummy Collection. My daughter wants to watch these, and I think she can see them. Bear Behind Bars, much more brutal and violent movie than the title would suggest. Be prepared if you watch it. One of my favorite horror movies of all time, Basket Case. Basket Case 2 I like. It's not as good as the first one, but I like it. Big fan of Russ Meyer. So I got right here, Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. I got Boarding House, one of my favorite direct-to-video, shot-on-video horror movies. The Blood Island box set. I like these movies a lot. I'm a big fan of Blair Witch. And Blair Witch 2 I actually like as well. Here's more Tinto Brass movies. Move up here. Caligula, another Tinto Brass movie. This is another one of my favorite horror movies. Bio Omega, also known as Beyond the Darkness. Really sick, twisted horror movie. Here's more worm puking Asian horror, centipede horror. Although in this case, centipede puking. Just give you a quick, obviously Romero's Dead movies, some of my favorite movies. I bought Diary of the Dead more as a completist. I really didn't like it all that much, to be perfectly frank. Death Dream, great movie. Deadly Spawn, that's another one of my favorite low-budget horror movies. I actually won these Evil Dead boxes, the Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2 Book of the Dead releases. I won them in answering a trivia question at a horror convention one time. So, big John Waters fan, so I got Desperate Living. This is actually part of the John Waters box set, which I don't know why I separated it. Another worm-puking Asian horror movie. Extremely obscure movie. Most people have never heard of this. This movie, if you've never seen it, if you can find it, check it out. It's totally off-the-wall, weird. Let's go through this real quick so you can see. I'm a Friday the 13th fan, although I'm the kind of Friday the 13th fan who basically thinks that the series died basically after the final chapter. I think starting with part 5, the rest of them suck. I got this Beyond tin as a Halloween present from my wife one year, and I was lucky enough to get Catriona MacColl to sign it at a horror convention. And a couple of Fu Manchu movies. Forbidden Zone, one of the weirdest movies ever made. This is a pretty obscure movie. Ghosts of the Civil Dead. Nick Cave wrote the screenplay, wrote the music, and stars in it. Very, very good movie. Fan of the guinea pig movies. I have the 3 I like the best: Flower of Flesh and Blood, Mermaid in a Manhole, and He Never Dies. These 2 I don't really know why I bought, because Devil's Experiment and Android and Notre Dame are both pretty crappy.